Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be a rant of all rants. Yesterday, the Call of Duty news went kind of nuclear. Me and my wife were walking around the block. My phone goes crazy. T-Dawg, check this out. T-Dawg, check this out. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, by the way, so you can tag me when this happens again. The beginning of this year of Call of Duty has been very, very different. If you know anything about COD, they usually release their game in November, October, and about 2 to 3 weeks later, they kind of come out and say, you know, millions of people are playing the game. Here's how many minutes you guys have logged, and here's how much money this game has made. It's setting records. It's the #1 Call of Duty game of all time. And this year, it has been very, very different. There has been none of that. I think the most that we've gotten so far has been like, hey guys, we really appreciate the feedback, and we're going to take that feedback into consideration as we continue to make this game, which is never a good sign. So yesterday, this blog post comes out about 5 p.m. by Call of Duty, and it kind of drops a massive bombshell on, I guess, their plans of what they've been doing lately, and kind of, dare I say it, listening to what we have to say. Now, I'll have thoughts on that, you know, later on in this video. And so I'll summarize this blog pretty much, so you don't gotta read it. But the big portion of this was that they were very aware that there is fatigue. There is franchise fatigue. They literally said that we think that Modern Warfare 2 with Modern Warfare 3 and then BO6 with BO7 was a big mistake. Which is actually kind of shocking for Call of Duty, and they pretty much announced that will never ever happen again. There is always going to be a unique game coming out with, you know, whether it's Black Ops and Modern Warfare or whatever. We'll talk about that as well. They're going to be doing that, and they're not obviously going to be able to share those plans right away, but they're going to share them very soon. And so I think that that is crazy for them to come out and say that. It pretty much shows you that Black Ops 7 is not doing what it's supposed to do in terms of in their eyes. And again, it just surprises me. I'm like, who was in charge of this? Who in their right mind thought that this was going to be a good idea to release them back to back twice in a row? And so Charlie Intel came out and tweeted about this, Ghost of Hope, and apparently the player base is actually lower in this game than BO6 and Modern Warfare 3. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's a problem. Not a problem. It is a problem, but you know, there's a lot of good games out right now. There's more competition this year than ever. So it's like, I understand there being a dip in player. BO6 had nobody, like there was nothing competing with that game. And it was like a fresh Black Ops game. I think the one that they really care about is this next stat. BO7 might be underselling Call of Duty Vanguard. And if you've been around the franchise for a little bit, you know one thing. Pretty much all they care about is money. And if they are not getting sales, and if it's underperforming, that's when they make a change. I'm gonna have another video about that in another, probably tomorrow actually, about that. So yeah, it's underselling Call of Duty Vanguard. And so I have a few things to say. I think there's more of an underlying issue than they think with just this back-to-back thing. I think they're trying to blame it on that, but there is so much more under the hood that I think that they're missing, that again, I don't know why they are missing it, because their job is to be on top of this stuff. But I quickly want to go over another thing to show you with this blog post. There were 2 other bullet points in this blog post, and one of them was that Black Ops 7 is already going to be going free to play coming up here in, like, I think it's next weekend maybe, or something like that. So obviously there's another reason to kind of show you that, hey, they're almost trying to get it into your hands, because they know people didn't buy it. They know they didn't even think about it. And so they're like, hey guys, season 1 just came out. We have a lot of new content. We would love for you to try it. And so that's the opportunity to give it for free. I still don't know if people will download this game, even if it's free. I know that's insane to say. I think this is more like, it's the game where people are just got so fed up with everything that they are just going to be like, no, we are not touching this game. I don't care what you do. I don't care what content there is. I don't care how, if the game is even good, we ain't touching it. We're going to play Arc Raiders. We're going to play Battlefield. And you know what? They got a point. I totally get it. And then the last thing about this blog post is telling us about how content in BO7 is going to be continuing the style of season 1. And again, I know some of you guys probably aren't even playing the game, but season 1 was very good. Like, implementation was very good. There was no bugs, which is insane to say out loud. Good guns, and I said this in other videos, good guns, good maps. You know, the Warzone integration was pretty solid. Overall, it was definitely one of the better seasons we've ever gotten. And they've pretty much promised us the next 2 to 3 to 4 seasons are gonna be the same thing. And so I do think that this game might get an uptick of players by like March, when people have played Battlefield and Arc Raiders for a time already, and they're like, all right, I'll give COD a chance. And I'm still coughing, which is insane. I don't know if you guys have allergies. I know this has nothing to do with the videos, but I can't get healthy. It's insane. Like, it's either I'm coughing or who knows. But anyway, let's go to my underlying issue. And I jotted this down because I think, like I said, they're almost trying to blame it on the back-to-back games, but I don't necessarily think it's that if they were actually good games. You know, BO6 was not a good game. MW2 was not a good game. And so I'm gonna put up this graphic here. And I actually, again, I tweeted this the other day. I said, this should never, ever happen. This is Treyarch. And this is what they have been doing the last 5-6 years of content. They literally, and I need to pull it up real quick because I forgot to. They have worked on every single Call of Duty project since 2020, since Cold War. And they took over Cold War. Cold War wasn't even their game in the beginning. So what's the underlying issue, you may ask? There's too many cooks in the kitchen. There is too many people making these Call of Duty games. I will go back to the golden age of Call of Duty. Every single Call of Duty felt unique. Even the Black Ops games, you know, and at that time it went COD 4, World at War, and that's an Infinity Ward title, that's a Treyarch title, and then it would go back to Infinity Ward, and then it would go to Treyarch, and then it would go to Infinity Ward. And even the Infinity Ward games and the Treyarch titles felt different. So not only were you getting a different sub-genre, the game felt different too. Go World at War to Black Ops 1. Same development studio, totally different game. Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2, totally different game. Them having their own game, own studio, one project, always made it felt like you were getting a unique experience. And where now, it feels like with Treyarch having a little piece of the pie every single time, it almost feels like none of these games feel unique. And I've said this in a previous video, BO6 to BO7 just isn't enough change. But I would almost argue like there are things in MW2 that feel similar in BO7, whether it's the main menu, whether it's the create a class, whether it's the store, whether it's the battle pass, whether it's just like these little small things that just feel the same. And I mean, I want to go back to the golden age again. Even the main menus, like a BO1 main menu to a BO2 main menu, it was different. And then you, on top of that, had a different main menu from Modern Warfare 3 to, you know what I mean? It's like every single thing felt different. Create a class, like, felt different. It just, I don't get where they don't see this as being part of the problem. Let Treyarch make a title, let Infinity Ward make a title, and that's also goes down to another underlying issue of there's just so much going on in these games now. There's millions of modes, there's millions of things to do. There's battle passes here. It's a world where it's like most games are free to play and there's content, and we're still in this $70 model, and we're still trying to offer season passes. They've like tried to keep the OG golden age model of $70 every year while also trying to adapt this new style of, hey, all these games are free to play and there's seasonal updates and there's weekly updates. And they just don't merge. You just get a bad product. You get people getting overworked. You get people, I don't want to say phoning it in because none of these guys are phoning it in, but they know that, oh, they're going to just have to turn right around and make another Call of Duty next year. So they're not going to put in all their effort. So I look at that as a major issue in trying to make Call of Duty like back to that OG feeling again, and to go alongside of the new generation or the next Call of Duty. The good news is the next one is Modern Warfare 4. I mean, it sounds like that's confirmed. Now, in my opinion, do I think we should move off that title? Like, if the branding hasn't been made yet, I would love to see Modern Warfare turn into, like, I don't know what it's, I think it's in like South Korea or North Korea, like some sort of that warfare. Like, get it in that name and kind of bring in that newness. Like, okay, Call of Duty's trying something new. And so, especially when you're competing with GTA 6, you're going to have to bring something. And the good news is, I will say, is that this game is not going to be on PS4 or Xbox, whatever it is, One. This will be the first Call of Duty that is on a new console only. And hopefully they bring in this new engine that kind of like what MW19 did. It brought in a new engine, a new feeling. It felt like, okay, something's new here under the hood. And so I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. Now we've already got Charlie Intel tweeting about 2027. Looks like that's going to be the next game in the new subgenre where it's not Modern Warfare or Black Ops. I don't really know where Sledgehammer goes with this. I don't know what story they're thinking about making, but you know, I'm not opposed to revisiting old ones. Now, Sledgehammer didn't make Ghosts and stuff like that, but maybe there's a time where you revisit that story. I mean, it ended on a cliffhanger, and now I'm not the biggest fan of Ghosts, but at this point, I think it's been long enough that they know what went wrong with Ghosts, and they could fix those little small issues like the TTK being insane, the maps being terrible. But overall, like, guns were pretty good in that game, and, you know, competitive was good. So I think they have a lot to work with. And so I'm excited for the future. And I know that's the COD chill in me that I'm excited for the future, but I do think it takes them getting beat in sales, sadly, to make a move. And it happened, and their games have not been the best lately. And so they promised us at the end of that blog, we look forward to, I don't even know what they said. It was something like the future of Call of Duty. Like, we still think that the best games are ahead of us, which we'll see on that. But if they have that mindset, I can at least be hopeful. You know what I mean? So let me know, guys. What do you guys think about the news yesterday? What do you think the next move for Call of Duty is? Is it a whole new genre? Obviously it is, but like, where would you want to see that genre be at, that subgenre? And is this news enough to kind of be like, all right, maybe I'll give the next Call of Duty a chance because they're actually learning. But thank you all for watching. I've been really enjoying these rants, like I always say. Just a quick plug at the end, if you can, make sure you follow me on social media, on Twitter, Instagram. I'm on both. They're both Tdawgsmitty. And I need to start streaming again. If you guys want me to stream like a campaign or a game, please let me know in the comments down below what you think I should stream, because I kind of want to go through the campaigns again. I want to kind of go through all of the COD campaigns like individually and just see where everything went wrong. So, all right, guys, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you tomorrow.